Every few years in hip-hop, it seems like a generational superstar emerges. These artists often bring a distinct style to the industry while maintaining a high demand from fans that are eager for more music and to watch them evolve. Whether you love him or hate him, the boy Drizzy Drake, aka Champagne Papi, is a great example of this. There's always a ton of fans and critics that are excited for a new Drake song or album. Even the hip-hop fans that don't really like Drake will make time to listen just so they can stay up to date on the sound and to be able to voice their opinions. And it seems like everyone else in the industry is fiending for a feature from these kind of artists. From the older respected rappers like Nas to artists that are still trying to make their way out of the underground. If we were to rewind the clock about 7 years ago, it really felt like all the signs were pointing to Lil Baby being the next rapper that would take on that role. And for a few years, up until recently, it seemed like things were really moving in that direction. So let's take a look at how Lil Baby got to this point in the first place. And I can jog your memory in case you're like me and forgot how crazy successful Lil Baby was during his first few years of rapping.
And the BET award goes to Lil Baby.
Lil Baby was born Dominic Jones in Atlanta in 1994.
You having a Merry Christmas?
Having a good Merry Christmas.
Ooh, you go, boy. You going for a Merry Christmas.
He grew up hanging out with friends like Young Thug, Coach K, and P, leaning toward a life of petty crime and street hustling, while his friends went on to thrive in the music industry. The record label Quality Control was started up in 2013, and at age 17, Lil Baby was a regular presence in the studio of the Atlanta-based record label as a drug dealer. This was a great networking opportunity for him. The other artists and owner of the label encouraged Lil Baby to start rapping, but at that time he wasn't interested. Then in 2015, when Lil Baby was 19, he went to prison for 2 years due to a probation violation. When he was released in 2017, Young Thug actually offered to pay Lil Baby to leave the street life behind to make music.
What did you see in him back then that said, nah, bro, I'm gonna pay you to stay out the street and rap?
I just didn't want to go back to prison. I was scared for him to go back to jail because he just did a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He got straight out of jail and went straight back to the same neighborhood, the same house that the police busted and locked him up.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Baby wasn't able to pass up this offer. He ended up taking the money and pursuing rap. Both Lil Baby and Young Thug have talked about this moment that ultimately changed his life.
Young Thug really, literally, paid me to leave the neighborhood. Bro, you can rap, you got it. I'm telling you, you could be next. Bro, you got to leave the hood. I'm telling you, how much you gonna make today? I'm gonna pay you to come to the studio, just stay at the studio all day.
After Lil Baby accepted Thug's offer, he jump-started his rap career with a mixtape called Perfect Timing, released in April of that year. By any standards, Lil Baby's rise was incredibly fast. He had Young Thug, already an Atlanta superstar, and his future collaborator Gunna to help teach him how to rap. It turned out he was pretty good at it, a dexterous rhymer with a strong grasp of melody that was firmly rooted in the tradition of late 2010s Atlanta hip-hop. The mixtape featured cameos from his friends who were already rapping, like Lil Yachty, Young Thug, and Gunna. The project had impressively strong production, which really complemented Lil Baby's woozy-sounding flow.
Serving on the back street, probably got a Drake on. All these pussy nigga fake hang, all these bitches wanna blow.
The mixtape immediately brought the young rapper fame because of his affiliations with the Quality Control label and the big-name features that were a part of the project. While his tape attracted more and more listeners, Lil Baby worked constantly on new music, releasing singles like My Dog and the Young Thug collaboration Pink Slip in the summer of 2017. During that year, he also released Harder Than Hard, To the Hard Way, and Too Hard. If this didn't already sound like an impressive enough first year of music, Lil Baby also formed his own label, 4 Pockets Full, or more commonly referred to as 4PF. Rappers 42 Dugg and Rilo Rodriguez are both signed to the label. Then, the following year in 2018, Lil Baby completely blew up the rap industry. He released Harder Than Ever, which was his first studio album, which included guest appearances from Offset, Lil Uzi Vert, and Drake, with the hit Yes Indeed.
Crazy. Wham, wham, wham. Bitch on them, baby. Brand new whip, got no keys. Tell them my clothes, no starch.
Additionally, he dropped Drip Harder, a collaborative mixtape with Gunna. Then, towards the end of the year, he put out another mixtape titled Street Gossip. All three of these projects made it onto the top 10 of the Billboard 200. That's huge for any artist, and it's like striking gold 3 separate times in 1 year. This made 2018 an insane sophomore year for Lil Baby, who had only started making music the year prior. Then, in 2019, Lil Baby was starring in the film How High 2.
I ain't gonna lie, man, that's some good shit.
And releasing a handful of singles, including a hit Future collaboration, Out the Mud.
Youngin' ain't gon' play with him, he get it over love. I feel like it's different when you got it out the mud.
Then, in 2020, Lil Baby dropped his second studio album, My Turn, which went straight to #1. Later that year, in the wake of George Floyd's killing, Lil Baby, like millions of other Americans, took to the streets to protest. But Lil Baby decided to do more than just march. He decided to write a song about it. Released in June, The Bigger Picture was an impressively precise stream of consciousness that finds Lil Baby grappling with the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and Rayshard Brooks against a simple piano-led beat.
It's a problem with the whole way of life. It can't change overnight. But we gotta start somewhere. Might as well go ahead start.
The song became somewhat of an anthem during that time. Its deeper message and lyrics painted Lil Baby in a different light. It brought in way more people that would call themselves fans of his music. According to Lil Baby and his team, the proceeds from the song were donated to a variety of organizations. In March of 2021, Lil Baby performed The Bigger Picture at the Grammy Awards and received positive reviews across the board. The following day, another collaboration with Drake, Wants and Needs, debuted at #2 on the Hot 100. Then, during the summer, Lil Baby released a collaborative studio album with Lil Durk, The Voice of the Heroes. The album debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200. Lil Baby was still on a roll, and more popular than ever, but I believe this is where his demand started to reach its peak, right before declining. As we just saw, Lil Baby had been releasing an insane amount of music during his first few years in the industry, and immediately had cosigns from other legendary artists. When he popped up and flooded the scene with tons of music, it was well received because it was a new sound and it had great production, and everyone was happy with that for a few years. But I believe fans got a glimpse of what Lil Baby's full potential was in 2020, when he released a deeper song that felt more substantial and overall impactful. It even made hip-hop fans who weren't necessarily Lil Baby fans reconsider their opinions on the artist. I think Lil Baby and his team recognized that, because as they geared up for the release of his 2022 album, It's Only Me, Lil Baby was making claims that this project would be different from his past work, and would bring out a new introspective side of him. However, when the album finally released, to everyone's surprise, it was filled with a very similar sound and range that we were used to hearing from the artist.
Mama, I got rich, look at your dropout. Guns up, it ain't nothing to talk about. Outside of your city.
The album itself brought in a lot of streams, but most critics agreed that the project seemed like Lil Baby was just playing it safe.
Like, there's just not enough variety and sustenance on this LP for it to sound engaging for an entire hour. I'm actually kind of surprised to see most of the writing credits on these tracks mentioning at least a handful of people, because if I didn't know any better just listening to the quality of this record, I would have assumed this whole thing was thrown together by a skeleton crew of Lil Baby, a couple of producers, and maybe an engineer.
He used the same flows and topics that he's been using for the past several years, but now it's starting to lose its freshness, making it feel like there's a lack of effort and creativity being applied. Lil Baby has an insane work ethic that seems to allow him to consistently release a high volume of music, which I think really helped to establish him as an artist in the beginning of his career. But I think with the lack of evolving or changing of sound, it can lead to your own style becoming oversaturated when it starts to sound like all the previous work that's been released. In 2023, we started to see some of this impact. He had a nationwide arena tour titled It's Only Us, and it had a large amount of dates and locations on the schedule, with 32 total shows. But 1 week ahead of the tour's first show, Lil Baby quietly canceled 10 of them. Without any explanation or reasoning from the artist, it left room for fans to draw their own conclusions. What they started to realize was that the rapper and his team had overestimated his current demand, forcing them to cancel shows that weren't selling enough tickets. You might be tempted to think that times are just tough for a lot of people, and that nobody has extra money laying around for concert tickets, especially in this economy. But when we compare this to Drake and J. Cole's tour, It's All a Blur, they recently had to add 10 additional shows. This is because the demand to see them perform is so high that they're selling out arenas, and there are still more people that would like to come to the show if more seats were available. The charismatic, confident Atlanta rapper Lil Baby quickly rose to fame after he launched his career in 2017. But in 2024, you'd probably get some crazy looks if you were to say that Lil Baby is still on top of the rap game, or at a level to be included in a top 5 list. I believe that Lil Baby could use people in his circle to tell him to redirect some of his attention away from putting out a high volume of new songs, and instead just to take more time on exploring new ways to evolve his sound and to continue growing his style as an artist. What do you think Lil Baby should do from here? I'm interested to hear your thoughts, so let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more music-related content. Don't forget to take your vitamins, say your prayers, and have a great day.